In this video, we are going to see how we can enter the customer balances in Sage 50 accounting. So as we can see on the left hand side, we have a navigation pane and we have different sections like customers and sales, we have vendors and purchases, and in whatever section we go, we see all the activities related to that particular activity. For example, for vendor and purchases, we see all the activity from creating a new vendor to following the complete purchase cycle. But this video is about customers, right? So same goes for the customers. Let's go to the customers and sales and we get all the customer tasks and details from creating a new customers to creating jobs, managing sales taxes, and also following the complete cycle in which we have the quotes, sales orders, sales invoices, finance charges, receiving money, and finally depositing it in bank. We also have the credit and returns options, reports, customer statements, whatever you want. So we also have the customer management pane where whatever we have entered, we see all the activities down here where we see all the sales invoices which we can filter from this advanced searches and date ranges. And we also have the receipt section where we can do the same for receipts. So here we are going to see how we can create new customers and then put their opening balances. Now, when you click on this particular section, you don't see this particular details right away. Rather, you will see something like this. Let me just show you in the vendor. You will see something like this, getting started. If you want some assistance by Sage, they will guide you through it. But since we are already here to learn completely from scratch how to do that, so let's click on close. And after that, you will see this kind of area. So let's go back to the customers and sales. And right now we don't have any customers, right? So whenever we enter all the new customers, the detail will show up here. Let's go to the customers and click on new. And this is the customer creation wizard. Just remember all the blue fields which has asterisk with it is the compulsory fields and rest all of the fields are not mandatory. That means you can skip it for the moment and you can enter all the information later on as well. So we will try to stick with the basics so that you completely understand the overall procedure on how you can create the new customers. We will keep it as simple as possible. So first one is customer ID. You can enter any kind of unique ID depending on your company policies. Let's say that you configure it by any random number, you configure it by C100, whatever. So in this scenario, we are taking an example of C100, let's say, is the customer ID. And the first customer according to our project is Justin. Now just remember, we will enter all of the customers, we will update their balances like this. And this 195,000, which is total of all the customers, should later on match with the control account balance that we have already entered before. So let me just continue with it. Justin, just copy the name here. New window is already open. Now when we try to switch between Sage and the project that we have in the browser, that window might be lost somewhere. So what you can do is just hold the alternate and click on tab to locate that. So this is the window. Let me just open it. Just paste the name right here. Now, as I said, the account number, billing address, city, country, it's pretty basic and straightforward. You can enter all of these fields later on as well, but we are just concerned with the customer type. Even the customer type is not a compulsory field. It is blue, but it doesn't have a static with it, as you can see. Let's straight away go to the contacts. You can enter the details of different contact persons for that customer, for that company. You can enter all the notes, bill to and ship to addresses, whatever you like. Let's go to this history. All the activity of that particular customer, when we start entering the sales, they will all appear here according to different periods. So here we also enter the opening balances of the customer, but let me just get to this point later on. First of all, let's see and understand all the tabs. Let's go to sales info. Now by default, GL sales account, that means when we will make the sales to the customer, all of that will go to the sales income, which is 4,000. As I said, as we have already discussed in the previous videos, that 1 is for assets, 2 is for liability, 3 is for equity, and 4 is for revenue. So it's following the complete same sequence. We have the pricing levels, that we have the shipping details, order number, and pricing level details. So nothing to change here. Payment and credit terms. There you feed all the credit card information of the customer. We can enter the bank details as well. We can set the preferred payment methods and in which account the payment will go. We can also specify the terms and credits. By default, the payment is due in 30 days after the invoice, and we don't offer any kind of discount and we don't offer any kind of other benefits. So the credit limit is 2,500 rupees. After that, it will notify that this customer is over the credit limit. So if you want to make any changes with it, you can customize the terms for this customer. And let's say I want to change it to, let's say to 250,000. So this is how you can do it, and you can play around with all of these policies. Now let's go back to the third tab, which is history. And as we can see, this customer has some opening balances, right? So that means this customer exists already before we started implementing the Sage. So we will write here, this customer is since whatever date you want to write. But if you don't remember any particular date, how the customer, when the customer joined in, you can just specify it 1st of January. That is from this year. And after that, we will click on customer beginning balances. As soon as we click here, it will ask that you have modified the current record and have not saved it. Do you want to save this record first? That means it is asking you to save the customer first, and then you should be able to put the balances. So let's click yes. It will ask you to specify any invoice number. You will just enter 1001. The date will be the opening date, which is 1st of January. No need to enter the purchase order number. And here we will just copy and paste this balance. Just paste it right here. And here we will copy and paste this balance. If you are unable to write here, we will write it manually. And the account receivable is already set. So we will enter the customer details one by one. Let's click save. And as we can see, the customer balances is showing right here, which is 85,000 for the first customer. Let's close out of here and save and new. So now we have created the first customer. Let's follow the same for the second one. And the second one is Albert. I'll just copy the name from here. C200. Paste the name. This customer is with us from, let's see, 1st of January. That's because we don't remember the date. Click yes. Enter the invoice number, 1st of January. And the amount is 30,000. Account receivable is already selected. So click save. And you can check it in the customer balances. Not only this balance, but the earlier balance of the previous customer is showing here as well. So let's close out of here. You can see the summary of this balance on this specific period as well. Let's go to the other tabs. Journal, we don't need to do anything here. Contacts, we don't need any adjustment right now because this is pretty simple. This depends on different companies and different scenarios. Sales info, the ledgers are already selected. No need of the changes here. If you want to change the default credit terms here, we can customize this. Let's say I want it to be 25,000. So that's about it. Click on save and new. And similarly, we have the new customer now, which is Victor. This is C300. Let's paste the name here. General, we'll keep it as it is. Contacts as it is. Customer is from 1st of January. Customer beginning balance. Let me just save it. 1003 as of 1st of January. And we will simply write the balance here, which is 65,000. Just be careful with the zeros. Account receivable is already selected. Click save and you will see the customer balances here. So just make sure that the totals are correct. Close out of here. Sales info all set. Payment credit, if you want to customize this, we can change it or change the credit limit to whatever we like, and click on save, or you can also click on save and new if we have more. So C400. Now we have Walter. Paste it right here. Don't need to do any changes in the general tab. Contacts, we will keep it as it is. And on 1st of January, customer billing balance, click yes. 1004 as of 1st of January. And the balance is 15,000. Let me just write 15,000 here. Account receivable is set. Click save. Close out of here. Sales info and payment credit are all set. If you want to save it like that, I'll just customize it to 25,000 and save. Now, if you want to close out of here, just close like this. And now after that, we can see that we are on the main section. But on the right hand side, we still don't see any customer details. Why? Because sometimes you need to refresh it from the top. Right here, just click refresh and you can see all the customers along with the balances here. Now, if you want to check the opening trial balance again, just to make sure that this is now linked to the customers. I'll just click on the report section and then go to the journal ledger section where I will click on the journal ledger trial balance. As we can see, the account receivable is here. When we double click here, we see it like this. That means at the starting position, you don't see the details of the customers in the account receivable when you drill down, but in future, this will be automatically linked. So that means you need to enter the control account balance separately and customers separately. And when the day-to-day transactions happens, then all the sales amount will automatically go to the receivables as we enter it. So this is how we can enter all the customers along with the opening balances in Sage 50 accounting. Just try it by yourself and I'll see you in the next one.